dreams are made of this. Who am I to disagree? Travel the world and the seven seas. Everybody's looking for something. Some of them want to use you. Some of them want to get used by you. Some of them want to abuse you. Some of them want to be abused. Sweet dreams are made of this. Who am I to disagree? Travel the world and the seven seas. Everybody's looking for something. Some of them want to use you. Some of them want to get used by you. Some of them want to abuse you. Some of them want to be abused.
Greetings, everyone. Tommy Hawk's Blood here. It's going to be a crazy day today, a little bit abstract. So, if you sit down and relax, get yourself something to drink, water, milk, whatever, soda, whatever you're into, get ready for a wild ride. We're going to go in a totally different perspective, different idea, a different way of looking at everything. And that's why I said talking to a rock rather than God. We'll get into why. But there's reasons, a lot of reasons behind why I say that and what I'm going to talk about today. Now, I'll ask you again and again to send this link to every friend that you have, everybody on your Facebook, Twitter, linked. Try to get them to come over and listen at least once in a while, or try to. Put their 2 cents in, whatever. But tomorrow I'm going to do another show. And that's going to be based on numbers, the dangers to numbers to this planet, relying on numbers. Well, there's a lot about that have a lot to do with spiritual truth and not spiritual truth. So that should be really interesting as well. If you got the courage to sit through and listen to things that you might not understand, want to understand, or it'll be something for you to think about. I promise you that. Because every time we take a little step forward, it creates a lot of new things in your consciousness to think about, to work with, to deal with. Not always for the better. I would determine what you call better, physically, mentally, or spiritually. I don't think anything ever works together with all of them at the same time. Because you're moving forward spiritually, it definitely has nothing to do with the physical. No matter what people say, no matter what people think, I'm giving you the truth, the straight truth. And if you don't want to believe me, you don't have to listen. If you want to understand or at least hear the truth, listen. I promise you, whatever I say comes from direct experience of where I came from, what I went through in my lifetime, in this lifetime, and all my others. So, yeah, that's a critical thing. Now, the song I played it for a reason. I'm not going to get into dreams that much today, but I just want to say something. For me, it's becoming an incredible experience. Rather recently, I'm able to walk in and out of my dreams, which is cool. In the middle of a situation, bad situation, or whatever, you can just step out of it and say, oh, what can I do? And then you go back into it again. I used to do that a lot, and I kind of stopped. But I've been traveling so much in my dreams and going all these places. But being able to get out of it Hey, whoa, what was I doing there? Oh, let me change that, and then you go back in. So it's working on the inner in a higher level, rather than just being a victim of your dreams, being able to work with them, change them, and rebuild them, whatever. So it's something I can't say I can teach you it, but I'm sure you can learn it. If you were interested in learning how to do it, you'd have to put a lot of interest in your dreams. I spent years on my dream research for myself before that started happening for me. But writing it down in the morning and at nighttime, the same as what happens during your day, can help you understand dreams incredibly. And that in turn helps you take that into the physical reality of life and how to use it or what it means. It could be warning signals and signs of people in your life, past life, or even your present life that will interfere or change things or trying to interfere with your reality. So it's a very important thing. And I know people don't talk about it much. People talk about trying to make people happy, trying to tell them how to get ahead in life. You never get ahead because you're going to die no matter how much you're ahead. Now, just recently, and I got to bring this up, Bob Dean, one of the coolest people in the UFO world that I knew, and I'm serious about that, died. Well, he was sick and he was old, but he was an incredible person. When I met him a few times and got to sit down and talk with him and things like that, he was the kind of person you wouldn't even know if he was alien, or you could believe he was. When I met him, he used to wear gloves all the time and dark sunglasses. So he had an image, whether he was trying to hide it, protect it, or whatever. I mean, later on he stopped doing that kind of entertainment for himself, but he was such a nice guy. He was involved with the government, got close to a lot of alien races and things like that. I'm not going to say I agree with everything he said, but he came from his personal direct experience of what he said was. And I believe it because he's a man that you could kind of trust by listening to him and what happened. I mean, I can make up a story right now and say, I truly believe it. Would you believe it or not if I said that to you? Well, hopefully over the past, I've been doing shows for many years, that you listen to me, you listen to what I say. I have no reason to lie. I do not want to lie because it's a sin or a really bad thing, no matter how you look at it. So I can only tell you I come from the highest truth that I know. And to me, that's all. That's probably the most important thing. So with that, the topic today is talking to a rock. Now, the first thing is what we have to understand in the beginning. What is the beginning and where did it start? When did it start? Who, what were we? Well, we'll always remain soul. I can't say always, but for the longest infinity of time that you could imagine, you will be a soul. There is a time when you let go of your soul body, but that's a long, long way away for most people. How can I talk about things? Because I experienced them. I was with deities, angels, and to me, one of the most important things in all my lifetimes was being near Jesus as a human, what he said, what he taught, being able to hear the secret teachings, which only 12 people on this planet heard. I hope you realize that. I mean, Mary Magdalene was his wife, so obviously she heard it, knew it, and was able to teach it to the disciples because they didn't understand it. But it wasn't a simple teaching. Oh, I love people, love everybody. How far can you teach that? How long can you go on about saying that? And how can you prove it? How can you show it? It's pretty hard. Jesus did show love by the way he treated Mary Magdalene and his God apostles. But he told them things. He told them everything that was happening and what they were going to do and stuff. Whether they believed him or not at the time was obviously not true. I mean, if you read the Bible, all his people turned against him after he was killed. And he told them all they would. And they all swore on everything. Lying to Jesus. Imagine that. Imagine that. Your teacher, your master, and you lie to him. Oh, I would never do that. And then what do? Lie to him. But he's not even there. You can't even face him head on because when they lied, he was already dead. So, yeah, imagine that. I can go on a whole show about that, which I will soon, because it was understanding the reason why I came back to this lifetime in this world. And I just talked to my partner about that. And it was the first time I think she kind of understood what I was saying. Because it was an experience, multiple experiences that I had to go through in this lifetime. But why I chose to do that is beyond most people's imagination or wildest dreams or even mine. So, now, when soul comes down, when God allows soul to experience itself, which it does, as an individual, if we all came down together as one blob, live life as one blob, we wouldn't have to do much. We would just be one blob of ignorant beings, because that's all mankind is in this generation. Sorry to say that. I'm still looking for one spiritual being on this planet. Talking spiritual is one thing, proving it and being it is another. I mean, you don't have to do the greatest miracles to prove that you're a spiritual being. Because I can say for myself, I learned that playing with these psychic abilities, which there 32 are, I mean, Moses had them all down pat, but when you have them, are you spiritual? You know, if you give somebody a gun and they start shooting rabbits, cats, dogs, and everything, are they spiritual? They start shooting people. Are they spiritual? Or they shoot themselves. Are they spiritual? So the device is in the hands of the beholder. What he's going to do with that device. Now, we have the ability, called freedom in this world, to do it, whether it's right or wrong, good, bad, or indifferent. That should make people think how scary planet Earth is. And to say heaven's here and now is the most ridiculous statement. If you believe this is what heaven could be like at any level, you have no understanding of a real heaven. You have no understanding of spirituality. You have no understanding of a God. You have no understanding what Jesus was trying to teach either. So take that to the bank and see how much you can take out on that idea. Well, if you're focused on money, you can make as much as you want. That's the gift, if you want to call it a gift, of Lucifer on this planet. Now, what's a rock have to do with any of this? Well, the newest conception, idea, that people are agreeing with and trying to prove as reality, that we're all connected. We're all out of the same matter. It's like taking a car. All cars are made the same. They're made out of metal, acid, rubber, plastic, copper, even I would say titanium and different metals now as well. All cars are. Are they all the same? Different makes, different models, made by different people? It's still a car, right? But what makes it a car different? The person that steps inside it and drives it. If you're driving a car, you can do whatever you want in the car, as a being, as a human. Now, if you decide to run every person you see over, like, what was it, the Death Race 2000, and get points from doing that in your mind, you can do that. Now, do you think everybody else has to do it because we're all one? We agree on what? Nothing. How can you be one with something that doesn't agree with it? I mean, all fish are in the ocean. Are they all the same because they swim in water? So when you get behind a car, you can become anything you want. But anybody that takes a car thinks differently. So anybody that takes a human body have to deal with the limitations of a human body. How fast it can run, how fast it can jump, how much it can lift. Sure, you can work a little bit on those things, but you can't completely change them. You can't put wings on your back and fly. Can't add arms and legs to your body. Well, I'm sure scientists are trying to prove they can now, but that's besides the point. But put another eye in the center of your forehead. I mean, those kind of things, no. So, how much